If you just got an X-T5 or are looking into getting one, this video is for you. Today I've got 10 tips for you ranging from beginner to master level tips, with the last one being a special photography tip you do not want to miss. And a lot of these tips apply to other cameras too, so listen up. The dials. These dials are one of the unique things about this camera, but at first they can be kind of intimidating. So of course you can use them manually, setting your ISO, shutter speed, exposure compensation, and your aperture if you have that on your lens. Or, as I would recommend for many situations, you can set them to A mode for automatic. Many cameras have a PSAM dial where you set it to A for automatic. This camera is a little different. You have to set each dial individually to automatic. This way, you let the camera do the thinking for you, and you can just focus on composition rather than exposure. You can also mix and match which dials you have in automatic and which ones you have in manual in order to get those other priority modes like you would on a PSAM dial. But what you may not have known about the dials is that if you set the shutter speed dial here to T, you can then control the shutter speed with this back dial here. This can be very handy for fine-tuning the shutter speed or just quickly accessing it without having to reach up here. If you'd like more help understanding the exposure triangle and such, leave a comment down below, maybe I'll make a video on it. But beyond the exposure dials, pay attention to all the other buttons on this camera too, because they all have a purpose. Also, quick side note, I find these dials kind of weirdly inconsistent. This one on my camera is very loose, whereas this one's a little bit harder to move. But on my X-T3, these dials are exactly the same dampening. Speaking of my X-T3, one of the worst experiences I've had with that camera is when my back screen would just not turn on. I double checked that the camera was on, but it just would not turn on. Lucky for me, the solution was very simple. It was to use this little view mode button right here. With this button, you can cycle between LCD only, EVF only, or eye sensor modes that let the camera decide for you based on this little sensor right here that detects if your face is close to the camera. Oftentimes when I'm shooting events, I will have the LCD out like this and close to my body, and I don't want the eye sensor to accidentally trigger the EVF, so I'll just leave it in LCD mode only. Okay, last beginner tip. You can customize what's on this LCD. Navigate to Screen Setup, and then go down to Display Custom Setting, and here's where you can uncheck and check a bunch of stuff that you want shown on your screen. So I'm going to go ahead and say I want the framing guideline, I want the histogram. Histogram is so useful for checking your exposure on the fly. And now, if I navigate back to the main screen, you can see a little histogram right here showing my live exposure and these framing guidelines. Super useful stuff. Took me a while to figure out. So my first tip for intermediate users is to fine-tune your file types. You can do that here in the image quality settings right at the top. Image size I would almost always leave to large. That basically is going to record the entire sensor rather than cropping. But here in the image quality setting is where things really get interesting. So the camera is automatically set to fine, which is going to be the highest quality JPEG that you can take. But if you want to take raw photos, you can obviously set the camera to do raw. The advantage with raw photos is that you're going to be able to pull more of the shadows and more of the highlights out of the final image in editing. But the disadvantage is that you're not going to have those beautiful Fuji colors baked into the file like you would with a JPEG. So what I would recommend for the majority of shooters out there is just go ahead and shoot JPEG only. This can actually take you really far in the photography world, and even these JPEGs are quite editable. But if you want a little bit more flexibility, you can shoot RAW. I would just not recommend shooting RAW only. RAW files are just going to take up a ton of space, especially with the 40 megapixel sensor on this camera. So what I do is I shoot fine and RAW, and then I have the JPEGs go to one SD card, and the RAWs go to the other SD card, giving me the flexibility to later delete all the RAWs and keep the JPEGs, but also have the flexibility to edit the RAWs if I want to. Custom film recipes. So this is actually where it gets really exciting with Fujifilm cameras. You know those JPEGs I was talking about earlier? Well, you can customize those JPEGs a lot in the camera. So you may already know about Fuji's film simulations that you can choose from, and these are great by themselves as they offer some amazing standard profiles. But beyond that, you can actually fine-tune custom settings that will give you beautiful JPEGs straight out of the camera, exactly how you want them to look. I'd recommend going to a website like Fuji X Weekly, where you can find just a ton of custom film sims. But if you want to set those up, go ahead and go to the menu, Image Quality tab, and go down to Edit/Save Custom Setting, where you can go ahead and create some custom presets, and then go into the Select Custom setting to select them. Within each of these custom presets that you make, you can change all kinds of stuff, all kinds of settings. Super, super awesome for just really quickly changing your settings on the fly and making some beautiful straight out of camera JPEGs. Internal Image Stabilization, IBIS. IBIS is absolutely lovely and lets you get beautiful night shots or just handheld video that is super smooth. I wish every camera had IBIS, but sometimes you actually want to turn it off. If your camera is in a stable state, for example, it's on a sturdy tripod and it's not going to move, IBIS can actually cause some weird sensor drift in your time-lapse, long exposure, or even video. In this case, turn IBIS off. Navigate to the menu, Camera, IS mode, and then you can change it to off. This completely disables the internal image stabilization, and it'll ensure that your tripod shots do not have any sort of weird drift. Little extra tip, you can set almost any of these settings that I'm talking about to any of these buttons on the camera, so if you wanted to, you could set the image stabilization mode to like this button here, in case you're constantly switching between tripod and handheld. This is not for everyday use, but you actually can get 160 megapixels out of this damn thing. If you have your camera on a tripod or in a sturdy situation, you can use this mode to get a full, clear, 160 megapixel image. And the only reason this is possible is because this camera has internal image stabilization, as mentioned before, allowing the sensor to shift around as it gathers light information. This, however, will not work with moving subjects, as the camera needs a little bit of time to gather all that information. And let me add that this X-T5 will not get these 160 megapixel files straight out of camera. You need to actually use Fujifilm's Pixel Shift Combiner software to get the final result. AF Range Limiter. So this camera has really awesome autofocus, especially compared to older Fuji models, but sometimes you just have subjects moving in and out of the frame that you want to ensure are not in focus. You can go ahead and navigate to the button dial setting, function setting, and set any of your buttons to AF Range Limiter. With this, if you press that button, you can select custom or preset range limits. With this selected, the camera will not focus on anything within a certain range. So for example, with this setting, anything closer than 5 meters to me is not going to be focused on, which can be so helpful for wildlife, people in a crowd, or even cars behind a fence. Just anything that has something between you and the subject. This is a really great insurance policy on your focus. Okay, the last master tip for this X-T5, there are virtual prime lenses in the menus. It sounds hard to believe, but it's true. Simply navigate to your menu, camera settings, and digital teleconverter. This way you can change it from off, which is just your standard focal length, all the way up to 2x, which is going to be double your current focal length. My favorite thing to do is actually set this to a custom function button, and then, as you're going, you can just punch in with that button. This may sound kind of useless, but it's actually so cool, especially if you're using a prime lens, because let's say you're shooting like a crow on a fence and you just can't quite get there with your current lens. Sure, you can take the photo and then you can crop in post, but what if you could crop in the camera on the fly? We're working with 40 megapixels here, so the 1.4x teleconverter gives you about 20 of those megapixels, and the 2x still gives you 10. 10 megapixels is honestly more than enough for posting online on Instagram. People are not going to notice the difference. And this feature kind of sums up why I love Fujifilm as a company. They just support getting the absolute best results straight out of the camera. Instead of thinking like, oh, I'll need to crop this later because my lens just doesn't reach that far. You can simply do it in this camera. So not only can we change our color settings and be all custom with that, we can change our focal length in this camera. This also allows you to explore what other focal lengths you like and decide if you want to buy a separate lens at that length. Let's say you've got a 50mm lens. Maybe you want to try a 100mm lens, but you don't have to pay for it with this camera. Just use your digital teleconverter. Okay, final tip, and then I promise I'm done. Don't be jaded by your daily life and environment. Honestly, we all live unique lives, but it can be kind of hard to see the beauty in your environment when you live it 24/7. Many people will seek out foreign locations due to this, which is awesome, but I think the best photographers are the ones that can see through the monotony of daily life and create art despite it. There is always something to photograph. Sometimes you just need to get creative. Thanks for watching.